in addition to being the month where typically terrible horror movies are released. January also happens to be the month where movies are released that I had no idea even existed. And I.S.S. happens to be one of those movies. That being said, once I heard the premise of this film, it did pique my interest. But the question with a movie like this will always be, will they be able to stick the landing? Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
Come on. Do it. Do it!
Tensions flare in the near future aboard the International Space Station when worldwide conflict breaks out on Earth. Soon, the U.S. and the Russian astronauts each receive orders from the ground to take control of the station by any means necessary. I want to start this off by saying I love the general concept of this film. It's literally the dynamics of a Cold War boiling over into a real war on an international space station between 6 people instead of 2 countries. And one thing I think this film does really well is showcasing the bond between these people before shit hits the fan.
And here we go.
You have 3 Americans and 3 Russians living together in close quarters for an extended period of time, and on top of that, they're living together in space. They are inevitably going to form a relationship with each other, some more intimate than others. On top of all of that, they pretty much rely on each other to stay alive in this potentially dangerous environment. And all of the camaraderie between them makes the moment that they have to start making difficult decisions all the more tense. To me, the absolute best part of this film is pretty early on when the main character, Kira, is just enjoying the sights from the space station. And suddenly she sees Earth getting nuked all to hell down below.
We're gonna die!
And how they have these characters react to this in that moment felt very genuine to me. Obviously, people who have loved ones down below are legitimately concerned. But it's that feeling of uncertainty and hopelessness because none of the characters really know what's going on in that moment. And I think their reactions is what makes it all resonate for me. And then everything is kicked up a notch when each side of this equation receives a transmission from their superiors. And this is where the film is then consumed by this will they or won't they dynamic. It quite literally forces these characters who know each other very well to start making difficult decisions. Do they inform their friends on the other side of what's going on? Or do they follow orders and start to use lethal action?
If he dies, he dies.
I like that those questions are asked. You feel the fear and paranoia in these characters from that moment on, because they don't know who to trust or how they're going to get out of this situation. So basically the setup was all there. Unfortunately for me, it kind of falls flat in the end. Because to me, this movie doesn't live up to the big ideas that it's presenting to us. And to be clear, my issues with this movie don't have a lot to do with the characters themselves. Everyone in the film fulfills their purpose and is likable or unlikable enough to justify their existence. Even if the main character, Kira, is sporting a questionable Reva from Star Wars haircut.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
What I don't like is how some of these characters are used in the later moments of the film. I.S.S. kind of devolves from this interesting idea into a movie that does a lot of things that we've seen before. Fake out deaths and predictable returns. Twist endings revolving around a character's motivations shifting. A moment that feels very random and not organic to the story being told. There's a moment in the film where this psychological conflict that it starts off as turns into a literal zero-gravity fistfight, and it all felt kind of hokey to me. And very inconsistent with the more thought-provoking first half of the film.
We were on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
I don't know, by the end of I.S.S., I guess I was just expecting a little bit more. They tried to deliver this message about finding common ground and sticking together even when it seems impossible. Now that's a great message overall to have in your film, but the delivery of that message felt very clunky to me. And the overall conflict resolves itself in a way that just felt way too neat to me. It doesn't feel earned. It feels like they were trying to wrap up this story in the safest way possible. And this isn't the first time that I've seen a movie like this, with lofty ideas kind of fumble at the goal line. It's a shame because I do feel like this movie could have been something special had some different creative decisions been made. And the influences are clearly there. There is a heavy alien influence on this film, as well as The Thing to an extent, which was the plan the whole time according to the director.
That makes sense.
But the one great thing that both of those movies were able to do that this film wasn't, was follow through with all of their lofty ideas all the way through to the end of the film. I don't know what I was expecting after the setup of this film, or how I thought I.S.S. would end. But by the time the credits rolled, I just felt indifferent about it all. It's a waste of decent characters, a waste of a concept, and a waste of potential. That's how I would sum up this film. And that's why I'm going to give I.S.S. the Careless Sam Gerard.
I don't care! Y'all be cool. Right on.